The French director Jean-Luc Godard never worked with a script. He was known to write small pieces of dialogue, maybe one line or two, and would let actors improvise from there.
How much license do you allow actors? Do you improvise with them? Do you put words into their mouths, or are they allowed to find their own words?
Oh no, I put words in their mouth, but I don't care if they change, and I don't ask them the way to pronounce it. I ask them to find some way to pronounce it or to act it, and then I can correct them after.
This way of shooting can be very exciting for the director because it keeps them on their toes. Not knowing what is about to happen next in the movie can make it feel like you're part of the audience, but it can be very nerve-wracking for the crew and cast who might feel like you don't know what you're doing. This has been the case for Doug Liman when he was directing the first Jason Bourne movie in 2000 and 2001, and it also caused conflict for George Miller on the set of Mad Max Fury Road. On the other hand, Wong Kar-wai, who never shoots with real scripts, never really faced this problem. He usually starts with a general idea that he builds on as he goes. Most directors build their script around their stories and add the characters to serve the plot, but Wong starts with the characters. He usually has a very clear idea of who the character is and a general idea of where the story could go, then builds from there. For this reason, he ends up editing the script quite a lot, even when shooting has already begun.
Normally, we shoot without a script. It's not without a real script or fake scripts. So, but we have an ideas, and my way of working is always started with the short stories, because today I think to make a film for 90 minutes, there must be a lot of substances in it, and I would always have short films idea. I don't know why, and we start like 3 stories or 2 stories.
One thing I think is very interesting about Wong's process is that instead of finding an actor that can portray the character, he thinks that the ideal way to work is to craft your character to cater to the actor, something that you will hear almost no director do. He also has been known to edit his movies while principal photography is still going on. So this means that he basically shoots, writes, and edits his movies simultaneously. His reason for this, as he says, is because he's too impatient and wants everything to be done at the same time. So that's really his own personal process, not because he thinks it's the right way, but because that's what fits to him the best. Robert Altman often encouraged his actors to improvise. He gave them a general idea of where the dialogue should go and let the actors try different takes until they found the perfect one. This can be good or bad for the actor. Good because they get to put their input on the characters they play. They can mold the character as they please as long as they don't take it too far to the point where the character is unrecognizable. But it can be bad because the way an actor speaks might contradict what the writer had in mind. Improvising might remove some essential elements of a script. A screenplay written by Aaron Sorkin could never work with improvised dialogue because of Aaron Sorkin's style. The cadence, the repetition, the talking over one another are all elements that are meticulously thought over by Aaron. Removing them would strip the screenplay of its life. Shooting without a script is not the only way that you can improvise in filmmaking. Clint Eastwood, for example, shoots with scripts, but doesn't use storyboards or shot lists, except when special effects are needed. His approach is to visit the set, map out his ideas for a scene, then when he comes back to shoot the scene, he follows whatever he had planned. He has noted that he does take ideas from the people he works with, his actors, art department, cinematographer, etc. He isn't afraid to stray away from his original ideas. Shot lists are made to ensure that no time is lost on set. Funnily enough, Clint doesn't use one, but has been known to shoot ahead of schedule multiple times. For Mystic River, the shooting days were supposed to last for 43 days, but ended 4 days in advance. On 8 or 7 occasions, shooting wrapped at lunch, which is pretty much unheard of in this industry. Christopher Nolan is similar, in the sense that he doesn't use storyboards or shot lists. However, his shooting process is always kept simple. The only time he really uses storyboards or shot lists are for action scenes.
It's not a complicated process. And Chris likes to keep all those other things uncomplicated. Most of the time, the camera's on my shoulder. Most of the time, I've got a very simple single source light, and we use very low tech equipment. We don't even really use Steadicam anymore. I don't think we used any Steadicam at all on Inception. It was all either on my shoulder or on a dolly. So we're very, very low tech, and Chris loves it that way. He loves the simplicity of that kind of filmmaking.
In any other art form, improvisation is normal, sometimes even necessary, like rap music, painting, or dance. But in filmmaking, improvising is risky and is sometimes frowned upon. The filmmakers that improvise do it because putting their ideas on paper would not encapsulate the full extent of their ideas. This is the case for people like Godard and Wong. Their ideas were considered avant-garde, so it would be harder for them to explain rather than just execute. Other times, improvising is used as a way to be curious. What will happen if we did this instead of that? What will happen if we put the camera here instead of there? This is where Robert Altman and Clint Eastwood fall under. They have a plan, but they know they won't follow it, so they don't care to make a detailed one. Then there's directors whose visions are so clear that writing the ideas down would simply be a waste of time, like Christopher Nolan. He knows what he wants, writing it down won't add anything. These directors make improvisation look very easy, which sometimes motivates novice filmmakers to imitate them and usually doesn't end well. The problem with these novices, the thing that they don't understand about Wong, Godard, and Altman, is that even if they improvise, they still have a very clear and detailed vision in their head. They just don't write it down. So, are they really improvising?